Hare Krishna, Prabhus and Vaishnavis. My name is Dharmavira Das, disciple of A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Today is the appearance day of Sri Baladev, Lord Balaram. It's a very, very important day in our Vaishnav calendar. Lord Balaram is our Adi Guru. He is the original Guru. And today I'm going to help and I'm going to share with most of you the deep meaning of chanting this Maha Mantra. But I noticed in my times of trying to teach, there has been a lot of confusion as to what is japa and what is kirtan. And I have the different books here with me today to share with you what Srila Prabhupada says is japa and what is kirtan. So if we want to learn the absolute truth, then we have to learn from the Shastras. There is no other way that we can learn what is the absolute truth if we do not refer to the Shastras. So it is very, very important that we hear what the Shastra says and we follow. So I must thank the following devotees who have joined this program. Swapnil, Ananga, Durga, Arun Mohan, Shambhunath, Suken, and so many others. Okay, thank you very much for joining me today. I will try to assist you as much as possible on how to chant, and I would like to clear some understandings about chanting this Maha Mantra. Okay, now first, I'm going to read from the Nectar of Devotion what Srila Prabhupada terms as japa. The Nectar of Devotion is a book written by our Goswami, and the chief of them is Rupa Goswami. So now I'm going to share with you what Srila Prabhupada says about japa. This is from the Nectar of Devotion, entitled Japa. When a mantra or hymn is chanted softly, that is called japa. The same mantra, when chanted loudly, is called kirtan. For example, the Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. When uttered very softly, only for one's own hearing, it is called japa. The same mantra, when chanted loudly for being heard by others, is called kirtan. The Maha Mantra can be used for japa and kirtan also. When japa is practiced, it is for the personal benefit of the chanter. But when kirtan is performed, it is for the benefit of all others who hear. Okay, thank you very much. Now, that was the first point regarding japa. So one has to understand that japa has to be chanted very, very softly, so that only one can hear. And if you're chanting japa loud, then actually it is called kirtan. So this understanding has to be very clear. What is japa and what is kirtan? And if one is chanting japa, he is chanting for, or she is chanting for one's personal benefit. Right? Whereas kirtan, it is for the benefit of others as well. So this is the first point we've got to understand about japa. And later, you can post any comments or questions. I will answer them in either, if possible, today, or I will answer them in future programs, which I will also broadcast either live or recorded. So another very, very important point, because today is Lord Balaram's appearance day, and as I explained, that he is our Adi Guru. So we have to understand that he is the original Guru, and we have to understand what is Guru, right? And now I'm going to also share with you from the scriptures what Srila Prabhupada explains in his purport, and what Lord Krishna, what he says, who is Guru. This is another important point a lot of people don't understand. Okay, now I'm going to read from the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4, verse 34. Okay, it is said, Tad vidi pranipatena pariprashena sevaya upadekshyanti te jnanam jnanas tattva darishana. Translation. Just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master. Inquire from him submissively and render service unto him. The self-realized souls can impart knowledge unto you because they have seen the truth. So what's very important here, that the understanding is that the Guru must be self-realized. And I found that lots of people don't really know what self-realization means, actually. Self-realization simply means that one who has realized the self. The self. Basically, you are the soul. So one who's realized the soul, one who's realized who one is, then that means one is self-realized. So to be a guru, one has to be self-realized. That means one must understand the self. That means I've realized the self. So if one does not know who one is, then how will you be able to teach others who they are? So you have to know who you are, what is your spiritual form, what is your service, and in this way, by your own realization, that is self-realization, you will be able to impart knowledge, true knowledge, not theoretical knowledge, but real knowledge to others. This is also a very, very important point, that we have to first see whether we have got a real guru or not. Guru is not somebody that is rubber stamped, oh, I'm guru, I'm an elected guru by some institute. No, that is not guru. Guru is defined in the scripture as one who is self-realized. So this is very, very important that we understand if the guru is self-realized. So someone may ask me, how do we know? No, you will never know as a conditioned soul whether a guru is realized or not. But by association of the guru, by his activity, by the way he controls himself, by the way he conducts himself, and after some association over a period of time, like Sanatana Goswami said, before a guru accepts a disciple, or before a disciple accepts a guru, they should study each other for at least 1 year in close association, in very close association. Then one can understand the guru. And in this way, the guru can also understand the disciple. So the both have to understand one another. The next point regarding guru is explained in the scriptures that to find a self-realized guru is absolutely rare. You cannot just find a self-realized guru, because a self-realized guru is extremely rare. And this is another important point. Even more rare is to find a true disciple. So even more rare than finding a self-realized guru is to find a true disciple. So therefore, the guru also has to be careful before taking on a disciple. Because the disciple also has to be qualified. Just as the guru has to be qualified, the disciple also has to be qualified. Okay, now I'd like to touch on another point regarding chanting of the holy names. Firstly, we have to understand that this holy names was taught and propounded by Gauranga Mahaprabhu himself. And who is Gauranga Mahaprabhu? Gauranga Mahaprabhu is a combination of Radha and Krishna. He is the original person. So when he says, Chaito Darpana Majanam, we should chant to cleanse our heart, then we can understand that this must be the process. So this is explained in the 8 verses that he left us, called the Siksastaka verses. So in the first verse, he explains that we should chant the pure name of Krishna. So that's why he says all glories to the pure name of Krishna. So the question may arise, has Krishna got an impure name? No. Krishna's name is always pure. But one can chant the name offenseless, with offenses. So this means, this is not the pure name. Offense means aparad. So chanting the name with offense is called namaparada. And chanting the name without offense is called Shuddha. That is the pure name. So one may understand this point as well. What is namaparada and what is Shuddha? Therefore, we were taught from the very beginning of our process, especially those of us who have been in ISKCON, International Society for Krishna Consciousness, that we every morning after Mangal Arati, we had to recite the 10 offenses against the holy name. Many people recited it like parrots, but that won't give you knowledge. You have to recite it with feeling and understand what you are saying. So this is another important point I want to explain, that you have to know what the 10 offenses are. You have to study the 10 offenses and apply the 10 offenses. So if you want to chant Shuddha, then it has to be offenselessness chanting. That means without offense. So this is very, very important in today's guidance, explaining about japa, explaining about offenses, because Harinam refers to offenseless chanting. If you are chanting with offenses, then this is namaparada. So this is not Harinam. And this is also very clearly explained in the scripture written by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur called Jaiva Dharma. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur actually explained that the Jaiva Dharma is the cream of all the books he has written. And I can assure you that if you read the Jaiva Dharma, you will get lots of insight into the questions that you may be asking yourselves even right now. Important book to study is the Jaiva Dharma, especially the first two sections. The third section is a little more difficult because it deals with rasa tattva, and unless one is qualified, one can read that section. But the first two sections one should read and understand thoroughly. In fact, one should read it at least 10 times to get a proper understanding of the true path of really what is Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness is not just a word. It's called International Society for Krishna Consciousness. But consciousness means being conscious of Krishna, not an institution. Institution is one thing and consciousness is another thing. So one may not be living in the institution, but he may be Krishna conscious. And one may be living in the institution and not practicing Krishna conscious. So who is really ISKCON? Obviously, the person who is practicing Krishna consciousness, he is ISKCON. So many of you, I know, who don't live in the ashram are members of ISKCON. Because why? Because you are really Krishna conscious. And I've seen over the period of time that there are many members, they're not in the institution, but they are ISKCON. In fact, Srila Prabhupada, he explained this point. Once, his first female disciple, Yamuna Devi, she's the one who sings the Govindam prayers that we hear every day in ISKCON. She's the one. And she asked Srila Prabhupada about ISKCON. And Srila Prabhupada explained that if any two persons are discussing about Krishna and chanting Krishna's name, they are ISKCON. So this is another important point. I have to mention who is ISKCON and who is not ISKCON. So ISKCON is International Society for Krishna Consciousness. So one is conscious of Krishna, then you are definitely ISKCON. There's absolutely no doubt. Not that you have to belong to an institute, not that you have to wear these markings like tilak, dhoti, kurta, or as a lady as a sari, then you are a devotee. Also, another important point that a lot of people don't understand, what is a devotee. I remember also when I joined, I was called a devotee. I wasn't a devotee. I didn't even know. But just because I put a tilak, put a dhoti on my kurta, I was regarded as a devotee. But that's not a devotee. Actually, a devotee is explained in the scripture that a devotee is one who has realized Krishna, is a devotee. And one who is trying to realize Krishna is called a sadhak. Apprentice is trying to realize. He is not realized. So don't fool yourself and think that just by putting a tilak, a dhoti, or kurta, or a sari, that you are a devotee. No. That is absolutely not the qualification of a devotee. A realized soul is a devotee. So one must also understand that. Who is a devotee and who is a sadhak? So most of you are sadhaks. You are practicing. Once you have realized the Lord, then, yes, then you're a devotee. Now I'm touching on the main points. Another point that I like to touch is, this point is brought up when Gauranga Mahaprabhu was asked the question, who is a Vaishnav? And Gauranga Mahaprabhu explained the Vaishnav in 3 different years. The first year he explained that anyone who chants the name of Krishna even once, he is a Vaishnav. And in the second year, he explained that the person who's always chanting Krishna's name is a Vaishnava. And in the third year, he explained that just by seeing a Vaishnava, one starts to chant the name of Krishna. So this may be a little bit confusing. Now, who is a Vaishnava? Whether one who chants the name once, whether one who constantly chants, or one who just by his association can make you chant the name of Krishna. There's another point that I'd like to raise today. Actually, when Gauranga Mahaprabhu explained chanting the name of once is a Vaishnava, it's referred to the pure name of Krishna, Shuddhanam. So if you are chanting Shuddhanam even once, you are a Vaishnava. And then second is those who are always chanting. And the third is just by association of a Vaishnava, one will make the name of the Lord dance on your tongue. The holy name will start dancing on your tongue. That's what he meant. Not that, oh, somebody sees you on the road and because of your tilak and your dhoti or your sari or your neck beads or whatever, and people say, Hare Krishna. So now we say, oh, I'm a great Vaishnava. See, just by looking at me, one has said, Hare Krishna. No, Prabhu, that is not what is meant by one just seeing you. No, when the holy name of the Lord starts to dance on your tongue, then that means a Vaishnava. So these Vaishnavas are mentioned in these 3 categories. These 3 categories are namely kanista. That means even a kanista, he has to chant the pure name. And one who's constantly chanting the pure name is the madhyama adhikari. And the third one is the uttama adhikari. Just by seeing the uttama adhikari and by getting his association, the Lord's name will dance on your tongue. This is a proper understanding. Okay. Now I clarified that. Another point that I like to raise is preaching. Now Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he has explained very carefully who can preach. It's explained that only an uttama adhikari, the one who is realized, he can preach, not anyone else. Why? Because the uttama adhikari has realized the truth. One of the offenses, or one of the 10 offenses against the holy name, is preaching to the faithless person. It's an offense. So if you preach to a faithless person, then you are making aparadha, and that means you're making an offense to the holy name. So then how will this be Shuddhanam? How will this be pure chanting if you make an offense? Therefore, when we say uttama adhikari, he can preach. Because an uttama adhikari has a certain amount of shakti, power, that he can transmit this power and establish the faith in you. And then he can preach to you. He has the power. So when Prabhupada asked us to go out and preach, in a sense, but not preach, he actually said we should distribute his books. We should distribute his books. He even said, what can a few minutes of your talk do? He said, just distribute my books. Because the books was a pure devotee speaking. So this is another important point that we have to understand. Now this is all related to chanting, who is the guru, what is Harinam, what is namaparada, what Gauranga Mahaprabhu taught us. We have to understand and base our life. This is the foundation. This is the foundation of our Vaishnav culture. We have to understand these important points. Then another point that is sometimes raised is that out of the 9 processes of devotional service, Harinam or chanting is only one of them. Kirtan is only one. What about the other 9 processes? Now for that I'm going to share with you from 2 books. One from the Jaiva Dharma, written by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and the other one, the Chaitanya Charitamrita, written by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. And I'm also going to read the purport by Srila Prabhupada from the Chaitanya Charitamrita regarding what is the difference between chanting and the other processes of devotional service. So please bear with me while I read these 2 important topics from the Jaiva Dharma first, and then we'll elaborate from the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Okay, now the Jaiva Dharma. And the Jaiva Dharma, chapter 25. Okay, I'm just trying to find this. Okay, somehow rather it's skipping me. Okay, I will read it from my phone. I look at study on my phone, the same verse. Okay. In the Jaiva Dharma, chapter 23, Vijay Kumar inquired from the Babaji the following. He said, there are 9 or 64 limbs of bhakti, but chanting Sri Harinam is only one form. If one always chant Nam, how will one have time for the other forms of bhakti? The Babaji replied as follows. This is not difficult. The 64 limbs are all contained within the 9-fold process of bhakti. During chanting of Nam, all other limbs of bhakti are present, although they may not be evident. This conclusively proves that chanting Harinam is equivalent to practicing the 64 limbs of bhakti. So this is from the Jaiva Dharma. Now I'm going to read from the Chaitanya Charitamrita what Krishnadas Kaviraj says about chanting. And in the purport, what Srila Prabhupada says. And then after that, I will attempt to answer your questions as they come on my screen. And yeah, so we will take maybe 2 or 3 questions, we'll answer, and then we will continue with the answering either in other live broadcasts or recorded broadcasts. I will answer all the questions that are relevant to this discussion. Okay, now I'm going to read from the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Thank you very much. Okay. Before I read from the Chaitanya Charitamrita, I want to explain another very important point regarding chanting. Gauranga Mahaprabhu has explained that how we should chant the holy name of the Lord. He explained, Trinad api sunichena tarahopi sahishnuna amanina manadena kirtanya sadhari. We should chant the name of the Lord in a humble state of mind. And we should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige. So this is important. This is how we're supposed to chant. Chidadapi sunichena taropi sahishnuna amanina manadena kirtanya sadhari. So now, somehow or other, I'm not able to get it from Chaitanya Charitamrita. Again, I'm checking on my phone. Yes, thank you. Okay, this is in chapter 15, 107. Chapter 15, those who have the Chaitanya Charitamrita can follow with me. Chapter 15, text 107. Here it is explained that simply by chanting the holy name of Krishna, one is relieved from all the reactions to sinful life. One can complete the 9 processes of devotional service simply by chanting the holy name. So here it is clearly explained. What I explained in Jaiva Dharma, Krishna Das Kaviraj explains the same. He says that just by chanting Harinam, the name without offenses, then one accomplishes the 9 processes of devotional services simply by chanting the holy name of Krishna. So please, I'm giving you all this evidence for you to understand that we are not speculating, but we are quoting from the books, and we're giving you the evidence from the scriptures. And the most important point today, and most of you are being very sentimental and thinking that you have a guru. Most of you don't have a guru, actually. Guru means one is self-realized. And I know as a fact that many of you don't have guru. Because guru is one who knows who he is or who she is. He knows the spiritual form. That is guru. So if you got such a guru, then you have guru. Otherwise, he's not guru. Sometimes it's called kanguru. Con guru. Don't get conned by a con guru. Okay. Now I'm going to read to you the purport by Srila Prabhupada. I'm going to skip the Sanskrit. I'm just going to read the English. And Prabhupada, basically in the Sanskrit, he's talking about Shravanam Kirtanam. Now the English, he says, these are activities of hearing, chanting, remembering, serving, worshipping, praying, obeying, maintaining friendship, and surrendering everything. As far as the chanting of the holy name of Krishna is concerned, one can be free from all sinful reactions by chanting the holy name of Krishna without committing offenses. So the key word here is without committing offenses. If one chants offenselessly, he may be saved from all sinful reactions. It is very important in devotional service to chant the holy name of the Lord without committing offenses. The 9 devotional processes, such as Shravanam and Kirtanam, can all be attained at once if one simply chants the holy name of the Lord offenselessly. Thank you very much. So this, now I gave you further evidence about chanting the holy name without offenses. Chanting the holy name without offenses means chanting Harinam. If you're chanting with offenses, then you're not chanting Harinam. So sometimes members or sadhaks, who they sometimes refer as devotees, to say, we're going out on Harinam, but they're not going out on Harinam. Harinam is the pure chanting of the name of Krishna. Please understand this. These are very, very important points. I gave you the evidence, and now I'm going to teach you how you should chant the name. Right. I'm going to chant a little bit audibly so that you can hear me, but japa means I am the only one that must hear, not you. Because when you hear, it is kirtan. But just to explain, so how I chant the name normally, I basically, to focus my attention, I close my eyes so I'm not distracted. And I start to chant the name. And before I chant the name, Prabhupada has taught us that we should chant the Panchatattva mantra, which is very, very important. To me, it's the most important part of chanting. That we have to chant Jai Shri Krishna, Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita, Gadadhara, Sri Vasari, all the Bhakta Vrinda. This is very, very important because only by chanting this mantra with great devotion, then we'll be able to chant the Maha Mantra. So when offenses are made while chanting the Maha Mantra, you get relief because you've taken the name of the Panchatattva mantra. And Srila Bhaktisiddhanta also said that the pre-qualification before we chant the Maha Mantra is to chant the mantra of Nityananda and Gauranga. This is very important. He said before we chant, we should chant these mantras. Then we'll be qualified to chant the Maha Mantra. But Srila Prabhupada never taught us that. He just said we should chant the Panchatattva mantra and chant. Because of Prabhupada's direct contact with Krishna, that he could make rules, and pure devotee, when he says something, then Krishna reciprocates. So whatever Srila Prabhupada has said, if you do, you will realize Krishna. You will go back home. Even if you chant 16 rounds. As Prabhupada said, you'll go back. You'll go back. But Prabhupada also said without offenses. So if you chant the 16 rounds without offenses, Prabhupada said, and I will also say the same thing, you will definitely go back to Krishna. Because Prabhupada said it. So don't feel bad if you chant the 16 rounds, but if you chant the 16 rounds without offenses, you'll also go back. But why we say 64 rounds? Because Gauranga Mahaprabhu, he actually said that he wouldn't even eat in anybody's house if they didn't chant 100,000 names of Krishna daily. He said he wouldn't even eat. So from that day, everyone understood that they had to chant 100,000 names, or roughly, we say 64 rounds. So 64 rounds has come about from Gauranga Mahaprabhu's mouth. And this was actually also a concession, because the Namacharya in our line is Haridas Thakur. And Haridas Thakur, he chanted 300,000 names a day. So this is a standard. So Gauranga Mahaprabhu, he just made us a concession. He said, because so many of us are engaged in household life and we have so many duties, so he has reduced it out of his kindness. So only 64 rounds. And lots of people think this 64 rounds is a lot. Actually, it's not a lot at all. If you once practice, even if one chants slowly, it'll take you over 5 hours. And that's nothing. It is 24 hours a day. So we can't sacrifice, and we say we want to become pure devotees, we want to go back to Goloka, but we're not prepared to even give 5 hours or 6 hours of our time chanting. This is hypocrisy. We cannot take it so cheap that, yes, I will chant just for 1 hour or 2 hours, and that's enough. And the rest I will do for myself. No, one must apply oneself. So Gauranga Mahaprabhu has said 64 rounds. The Prabhupada has given a concession, and he has explained actually why he has given this concession. Because when Srila Prabhupada came to America and he started to introduce the Krishna conscious movement, he asked the devotees, and many of them admit up till today, yes, Prabhupada did tell us we have to chant 64 rounds. But because we were not ready, he then reduced it to 32 rounds. And when he found that we could not even do that, then he said, okay, 16 rounds is minimum. He always stressed, if you listen to all his lectures, Prabhupada never said chant 16 rounds. He said 16 rounds is the minimum. He said 16 rounds is always the minimum. But some people think that it is also a maximum. No, Prabhupada stressed, please, hear what Srila Prabhupada says. He said that 16 rounds is the minimum. And Gauranga Mahaprabhu, as I said, he has set the minimum standard as 100,000 names or 64 rounds. So it's important that we understand this. And again, I'm stressing, we must chant without offenses. Srila Prabhupada has explained the 4 basic principal offenses that we should take. This is a vow that all of us take. No gambling, no meat eating, no illicit sex, and no intoxication. I know most people follow, or sadhaks, they follow no intoxication, no meat eating. But it's not so when it comes to gambling. Gambling is also a type of speculation. So mentally, if we speculate, it may be like this, he may be like that, or he may be guru, or he may not be guru, then you're breaking the rules, because that is speculation. As soon as you say, maybe, I think, then you're using your conditioned mind and you're speculating. So that is also an offense. But the most important offense is illicit sex. And one does not, many people actually don't understand what's the real meaning of illicit sex. Though in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna has defined what is illicit sex. Krishna has said that sex to beget a child, that is religion, that is him. So what does that mean? That means any sex life not to beget a child is illicit. So if one is performing any types of sex life, in fact, one should not even think of the sex life, or even for men not to think of women, even in dreams. This is illicit. So if one wants to go back to Goloka Vrindavana, original home, then one must give up all sorts of illicit sex life, whether mechanical, physical, whatever, but one must give it up. That is the most important point about the rules and regulations. So sometimes one says, yes, I am not performing illicit sex. But are you really not performing illicit sex? So this is very important. So one may say, why is stressing? No, this is very important. In fact, Prabhupada has also said many times, he said, sex life, that's how Maya bounds us up and keeps us entrapped in this material world. So if one overcomes that, then one definitely is on the way back home. This I have to say because it is one of the most important things about spiritual life. Controlling the senses. And how we control the senses? We control the senses by what Rupa Goswami terms in the Nectar of Instruction, by controlling our tongue. And we control our tongue by the way we speak, and also what we eat, etc. So it's important to understand how. Everything is there. It's quite clear on how to control the senses and how to work our way back to our spiritual home. Okay, thank you very much. I'm just going to look at some of the questions and comments. Okay, I can see a lot of, sorry. Okay. Okay. Yes, I cannot see any questions or comments. Okay. Okay, thank you very much for listening. And this was my first live broadcast on Facebook. I never did it before. I don't know, it's my first attempt, and so please forgive me. It was not professional according to your standard, but I tried my best to do what I could do, and I've done it, and I've spoken. So I'm still waiting. If there's any questions by any of you regarding what I've spoken today, I will answer. Okay. Actually, it seems that most of you have understood what I've said. Thank you very much. So we'll close our discussion, and yes, today is the day of Lord Balaram, the parents' day, and we should take advantage of this day and ask Balaram to direct us to the Guru and direct us back home, back to our spiritual abode. We are not from this material world. We are all part and parcels of Krishna. And we all should go back home. This material world is just a prison. It's a reformation place. So one must understand, this is not our home. So please, chant, chant, and chant Harinam. And your life will become successful. And you'll go back home. Hare Krishna, Prabhu and Vaishnavas. Thank you very much for listening. Hare Krishna.